Last day of Comic-Con is Sunday, and this usually happens. I think it's happened the last couple of years. You know, by Saturday it's the fourth, or what feels like the fourth day, and it's just I can't be bothered doing stuff. And then on Sunday you get up and you think, oh, it's the last day. I have to do stuff. So I'm going to see how much I can squeeze into today. I'm going to start off here with breakfast at 7-Eleven again. And I'm probably going to see the Sons of Anarchy panel. It's the last season of Sons of Anarchy, so it's the last time they're going to be at Comic-Con. It's always a weird one at Comic-Con. It's not the typical show you'd see here, and the panel's never full. It's always easy to get into, so I'll probably go and see that just for the last time.
I would take Charlie's sock.
The sea sock.
Man! I would take my husband and Gemma's shoes.
I'm gonna take my bike. Spike the bike is coming on with me.
Boone?
I really thought you would have said Walter. Jesus, I guess I don't know, Charlie.
Tommy?
The love of my brothers and my sisters on the show.
Right.
That was so unbelievable. What a setup for me to go into. I was gonna make a joke, and now he says that.
Me throw up.
You know what? I'm going to echo. You know, it is our last time doing this as a cast, so I would say that too. I mean, this show is a massive family, and I think that's why it radiates so well to the audience, because we absolutely love each other and respect each other more than anything. So that love and respect, I would love to take that to every single project ever after this, because it's the greatest thing ever.
I want to take my trailer home.
He's actually moved into it.
He lives there, actually.
It isn't what I want to take, it's what I'm taking. The best education, the best friends, and the best memories that no one is ever taking from me again.
You're making Katie cry up here.
I want to take my boots from the first.
The lady boots. Lady shoes.
And I want to keep one for myself and gift one to Tommy Flanagan.
Appreciate that, Nick.
I'm going to stick with Dayton. I want to have him stuffed and put over my fireplace.
That's not that hard.
And then one last thing from all of us. You know, a show like this doesn't happen. It's not created like by magic. It's not put together from some ancient robot. There's one guy who gave us all a job. He gave us all opportunity to please you and to shock you and surprise you and to rock your world and to make you feel stuff for 7 damn years. And I tell you, I worked in television a long time. It's hard to find a person who can do that and keep it exciting and keep it worth going to work for and keep it pleasing people like you. And I gotta say, I'm really grateful that Kurt decided to take us on this trip, especially to take me on this trip. And that's been such a great ride. So thank you, Kurt, for the creation.
I got an image.
Wow, thank you. I'm verklempt. And I echo that. You know, in all our interviews, I was, how we're just one big fucked up family, and this is such a bittersweet experience. I prefer living in denial, so I hate shit like this because it makes it difficult. So But you know, I love everyone at this table, and we have an amazing crew, and you know, and it's here's the thing I'm most grateful for is that I walk through our set, and you know, I know that that everybody wants to be there, and everyone's really grateful, and everyone likes to show up to work, and that's really, you know, that's the gift for me. So thank you.
I'm really glad I got in to see the Sons of Anarchy panel. I didn't go in last year, I can't remember why, but it's the last year now, it's the last season, so it's good to see so many of the cast there as well.
3, 1, 2, and make sure you get the oil. Thanks every day. Oh, Wonder Girl, yeah. Oh, you're awesome. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
So randomly came across Jim Lee doing some sketches, and I've recorded a full thing. I'm just going to put a snippet here and then link to a video that has a full, it's about 22 minutes I think, doing 2 sketches, Bruce Wayne and Hawkman. So that was pretty good.
But I'm actually going to just try to pump out a couple quick sketches and talk about what I do. Oh, that was horrible. What I do, you know, when I'm drawing a sketch like this. So it really starts with something like this. This is a rough pencil drawing of, it's going to be Bruce Wayne. So usually just use a pencil like this real quick. Any lead pencil will work. But I like this because it has a fairly blunt tip and allows you to move very quickly. If you have a very sharp tip, it basically it kind of gets into the paper and it kind of slows you down. So I would just kind of do this. And the key thing here is you really want to just have some energy in the line and kind of get the basic shapes. And then you can just kind of ink straight onto the art. It saves you the time of dipping it into an inkwell. And I just find that it goes super fast, right? So. Now we're going to move on to this other character who I like while that one dries, and this is Hawkman. So it's actually a pretty easy one. Again, I start with the brow, and it's a more pronounced mask than Bruce Wayne or Batman. It has these huge shapes here, and then basically I drop the eyes in. And if you notice, I do a little reflection here, and then draw the eye, and then the eyelash. So something like a Hawkman, it's pretty forgiving. You can go in and you can keep it pretty loose, and you'll find that you can then kind of add the details on top of that, and it still looks pretty good. Like, you gotta imagine where his nose is, you got his mouth, come down, and he's gonna have some stubble. This is shorthand for stubble. You can do each one if you want, but for the purpose of the sketch, you'll find that this works pretty good. So this beak is super long, so it's going to really cast a long shadow across his face. You're just basically kind of going in and keeping adding shadows and kind of until the point where you're happy with it.
Wow.
Right. And then his whole neck is mostly going to be in shadow here. I've stylized him on this side, but I'm just going to have to kind of guess at him over on this side. Right. So it's almost like you're drawing the shadows behind the feathers as opposed to the feathers themselves, if that makes any sense. Okay. So, you know, if you look at this line here, it's got this big chunky black shape here, they're not so nice looking, and I know in my mind, when I go back in with whiteout, I'm going to go ahead and hit those up and make them thinner and small. Certainly on a sketch like this, I also like kind of using pencil, some multimedia, so you can go in and add some gray color. Obviously, if you're publishing a comic book, the grays don't really show up unless you're going to do a gray tone kind of look. Okay, then I have some whiteout. It's Presto whiteout correction. I can't even read it. But basically, you just squeeze it, and you can just use it like a pen. So like those lines here, I can just kind of simplify and sharp. But basically, I'm just adding like highlights to the area, and also kind of fixing areas that that I kind of screwed up. Okay. And if you remember, when I went and added the black shapes, I left areas that were open rather than doing them all as straight blacks. And that's partly to save time, but it's also partly to kind of create some visual interest. It's almost like the light is kind of bouncing off and hitting those areas and illuminating parts of his lips and his mouth through underlighting. Underlighting is when the light that's coming from the side bounces off the floor, or some object basically is cast back up on the figure itself. To get a little bit of that rim lighting on his chin there. And then I'm going to just tighten up some of these shadows and make them kind of lines. So 5 minutes? Okay, great.
My first comic of Comic-Con. I'm not a big comic book reader. I've sort of read the big ones like Watchmen and V for Vendetta, but on a late night conversation with a few people at the last event I was working at, they recommended Why the Last Man, so I'm going to give it a go. It's about 1 of 10. And I just realised as well that Brian K. Vaughan, I've heard of Brian K. Vaughan before. It's the same guy that's doing Saga. I've heard of that, so maybe if this one's good, I'll start on that one afterwards.
Just the same as retail.
That's the end of Comic-Con 2014. Everything gets very, very quiet here very quickly. It's back to normal. So it's been an excellent convention. It's been really, really good. I've enjoyed it. I haven't done that much, and sometimes I think that I'm not getting as much out of it as I should be. But I think different people get different things out of it, depending on how many times they've been here. People that have, if this is their first or second convention, whenever it was my first and second convention, they're doing the same sort of stuff. They're going to all the panels and are queuing and are getting everything they can. But I just like I've got 2 autographs, no photographs. I barely took any of my own photographs actually. That's one thing I wish I'd done a bit more of. I've seen some panels. got some swag from the DC thing yesterday. And you know, just overall it's been really good. I haven't done an awful lot, I haven't done as much as I could do, but I've really enjoyed it.